Okay, so a while back I did switching my screen time for reading. And I thought, what else do people do, especially on the weekends? Watch Netflix. And I'm also the person that can watch a lot of Netflix in the weekend. But I want to switch it up. I want to read more. I came up with the ingenious idea to swap my Netflix for reading. I know. I'm a genius. So I'm now just gonna look up how much time I spent watching Netflix last Saturday. I'm only gonna do the weekend, and that's mainly because in the weekends I just watch the most Netflix. Makes sense, right? So you're probably wondering, but how do you know how much time you spend watching Netflix? It's only possible because I have the weird need to always finish what I watch. So I never watch half an episode or anything like that. I need to watch the entire thing. And last Saturday I watched an episode of Gilmore Girls and I watched Pride and Prejudice. So I'm just gonna look up now how much time that was in total. Okay, so Pride and Prejudice is 2 hours and 6 minutes. All you gotta do is mama. And the Gilmore Girls episode was 44 minutes. So that leads to 2 hours and 50 minutes. So I have to read 2 hours and 50 minutes today. Am I going to succeed? Hell yes. And maybe you would like to know, but to start, I'm going to read The Short Second Life of Brit Tanner by Stephanie Meyer. This is novella in the Twilight Saga, and I've never read this one before. So I thought it would be really fun to read this one, and it fitted a readathon prompt I had to fulfill. So that's why. Let's get reading. So I accidentally forgot to stop the timer when I stopped reading. But the good thing is I sprinted last night, as you've seen. So I can just go back and see how many hours I read. I definitely passed the 2 hours and 50 minutes because I sprinted for over 6 hours. But that does include the talking time. So I'm just gonna quickly work out the math and I'll be back to tell you how many hours I read yesterday.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so I calculated it. I read for a little over 5.5 hours. So that's amazing. I passed the challenge. But let's see how many hours I have to read today. Okay, so today I have to read for 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's going to be a little bit harder since it is almost already 11 and I have like 4 videos that I have to edit today. And I also have to clean the house and we're going to eat at my boyfriend's mother's place. So, but I didn't tell you this last night, but I finished the book I started and I ended up really liking it. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It was really cool. I loved it. The only weird thing about this book is that it doesn't have any chapters. So it's just straight up 178 pages of a chapter. Which I thought was a little bit strange. I just really like Stephanie Meyer's writing style. It feels so comforting, and I don't know if it's because I read those books when I was a young teenager. This definitely gets me in the mood of October. And on the sprints, I asked everyone to vote for a book to read next because I couldn't decide which book I wanted to read, and it came down to Six of Crows and Sick Fucks. Then I told them I was gonna just read a chapter of both books, and I ended up choosing Sick Fucks by Tilly Cole, and that was mainly because the font is bigger than in Six of Crows, as you can see. and my eyes were just getting really tired. Also, this size is my favorite size. It always makes me so happy when I read a book that is this size. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm just gonna start reading this book. It is a dark romance and it has some huge trigger warnings. So in case you want to pick it up, do check it out. I was a little bit triggered. I thought it would have almost the same setup as the Mindfuck series, but it doesn't. In this book, it starts with the trauma part. It happens to a little boy and a little girl, and that makes it even more. Well, so far the writing style is amazing, and it feels weird to say that I'm liking it because it is so awful what's happening. I heard before that it had some Alice in Wonderland components, and immediately in the first chapter, it's about a girl who is dressed as Alice in Wonderland. Also, her name is Alice, and she finds a boy sitting on the grass, and he has like that tux thing on with the flaps, the flaps, and he has a watch that is broken, and he says tick tock, tick tock. So that was really cool. I really like how they did that, and they also so they're just kind of dealing with the trauma to pretend they're living in Alice in Wonderland. And I just can't wait for them to be grown-ups because this is a revenge book and I can't wait for them to get their revenge. So I'm just gonna read and I'll talk to you later. I just sat down and read for 2 hours and 93 minutes. So I went over the time I was supposed to read. With this book, I have the same feeling as I had with the Mindfuck series. You just want to sit down and read the entire thing. It is that I have to go to my mother-in-law, otherwise I would just continue reading. I ended at page 112. So this weekend I finished one book and this one made it to 30%. So I am really happy about that. I just had an amazing weekend. I'm so happy I decided to do this swapping Netflix with reading because I had an amazing time. I read more than I watched Netflix last weekend, so I'm really happy about that. And if you want to do this challenge, please do and tag me or something just so I can make sure I watch it. I would love to see how many hours you watch Netflix in a weekend and if you're able to switch that with reading. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Happy readings!